Rise are also close enough to be in contention. Oh gosh, Zeke, game 12.
I was fine, and then you made it more stressful. This is it. One last game out of major number 2. Let's find out how this all concludes together. Casters, for the last time, take it away.
This major's been so entertaining, and Peterbot and Clicks make it even more entertaining. Peterbot literally sending out a photo to his social media of Clicks at the Globals from last year. This is going to be crazy, Jacob, as Game 12 is cooking up right now. And we already know there's one finals on the line, and there are other global championship spots that are being fought for. 3rd and 4th place in particular, as Zeke just set the stage, is not safe at all. So here we have it, Jacob.
Yeah, and you got to think Clicks, Higgs, and Yama all come so close to winning an FNCS before. This is game 12. Will they achieve that dream? Let's find out. It wasn't too long ago, 2024, Major 3, Higgs, known as Batman Booga back then, they got a 2nd place with Rapid. Iamzo been in this position with Rise. They end up bouncing out of that top position after day 1. Clicks and Veno during duos leading after day 1 as well. Every single one of these guys fell short. But what happens is one setback makes for a greater comeback, and now uncontested. No funny business in this game.
Clicks queuing up with the icon skin as well. Just one final time, letting everyone know who is in the lobby right here as he fights for his very first finals championship here at the FNCS stage, and it just doesn't get any better than that. And you know what? They are just letting go a sigh of relief as they are uncontested. Saw a couple tweets coming out from the woodworks from Sandman the Lid as well, just saying, you know, hey, I'm gonna take train here from Peterbot, Rich One Cold, but seems like they were just messing around, trying to keep us on our toes here.
The dumbass team did Spain
seem to have their strategy going about as usual.
Yeah, kind of everything here the same as almost every other game out the gates. I think Visuals, Braids, and Diminish have somebody set up towards Foxy to try to land some shots over in this direction. Early surge, allowing them flexibility for the early and mid portions of the game, so we don't have to certainly make it too much of a focal point. And that actually isn't diminished.
Wait.
He's going to go ahead and back up.
LT2 team in, not LTT.
That they fought for and
Fortnite ban him.
That if you're going to fight us for it, it is going to be a risk for both of us. Now on the north side of the map, Flooded Frogs, Reed, Cooper, and Curly. They just need to close out, Monster.
A normal game.
They have to stay consistent.
No fucking
They're
way.
60 points ahead right now. However, they need to earn at least an end game. They got to touch those placement points. And we all know that just even last game, right? Teams can mix up their strategy. Clicks and his trio decided to kind of ambush Reed, Cooper, and Curly, almost catching them off guard there for a brief moment, but they got away with it. This is a team that can't get comfortable by any means.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can truly get comfortable as Booga. Just quickly looting one of those buildings, just chop it down. It's going to be the easiest way to get everything that you need and more, especially since most of their surge pages are outside of Seaport overall. Just got to go ahead and loot up here in the early game. You talk about like the placements, how they're being separated. 5th place, 575 points, just under Visuals, Braids, and Diminish, who are inside of that bubble in terms of qualifying for the Global Championship at 619 points. Everybody, I think, from 3rd place down, one mistake will ruin your entire FNCS.
Rapid, Batman, Booga, or sorry, Booga and Threats are the only other team to pick up an extra victory out here on the day. Clicks, Higgs, and Iamza being the first to go ahead and do so. That's impressive overall, and even more so impressive is that they're fighting for the global championship spot right now. They're on the bubble conversation. And you got to give credit to any team that is willing to be a high ground team, which is what Rapid, Booga, and Threats have managed to do here on the day.
Okay, learned something new. Didn't get him very far, but it's little tricks as Rapid starts his surge tower to the sky. Looking on over towards the south side of the zone. Poyo, Acorn, Agers, uncontested. Mass Meadows. Poyo's the one that's going to be having a lot of that gold in his inventory. So if he goes down early before being able to access the black market, those are some things you got to be looking at, but they're really going to be relying on him to position himself over on that side of the map, buy a lot of those extra heals, bring him on top of his base, and begin to start accumulating those numbers.
Gotta start adding them up. Noisy and Tony, though, sitting outside, possibly in a bush watching the black market here at the Magic Mosses. Clix just getting his kind of loadout together, interior, the entire team. Oh, they are waiting.
Because it is... Yeah, it is them, though, Tony, Nosy, and Creon, that they land at Pump Power. And with the changes over there, there's gold, there's dill bits, and they were the ones coming over to this black market more times than Clix, Yamso, and Higgs have even had the opportunity to look in this direction. And they've been the ones taking the loot. Now they hear the noise, another team is in there. It does look like they're just going to let him disengage, though. They probably don't want this early game fight because they, too, want to try to access the black market. But at the last second, they do land some good damage onto Clix. But instead of following up, trying to chase him down, they just go take what is left over.
Another trio on the outskirts as well, kind of looking in, noticing that Clix's team just boxes up here in the center. And now they have an opportunity to either farm for tags in the distance or jump in and take advantage of the weakened team in the middle. It's Taki, Ishu, and Vert. Managed to clash multiple times here today. Muzz, Japko, Rise on the move right now. No strangers to playing early center, but Clix, Yamso, and Higgs getting into a full-on fight right now. Clix tagged up once again here. Backed off to heal. Using those prestigious splashes. A fight breaking off on the other side. And their opportunity here now to find a bunch of elims is definitely starting to open up. They already have one here. But no, they want to move. This is the pressure starting to set in here. The pressure of winning.
If Kid wins it, Kid own it.
The reality is kicking in here, and instead of sticking around to fight it, they decide that they want to back out. Jacob, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's just in general, a lot of our top teams on that leaderboard are moving around this map and this game a lot quicker than the 11 games we've seen before. Reek getting an elimination. Peterbot thinking where they're contested, they're quickly moving around. Clix making a beeline to the black market to get the loot that they practiced all season leading up into this major. And then just elimination sprinkled around the map. I think this one might move at a little bit quicker pace up until a certain point, where Storm Surge starts to appear, but I even think that Storm Surge might appear just a zone later than some of these previous games.
I wouldn't doubt it. 4 teams already eliminated. Reek, Cooper find themselves 2 elims here on the outskirts of the Whiffy. Not bad at all, given that this is a team that just has to inch their way up to the next threshold. They're so close, yet so far. Easily one of the community's favorites. We've seen him kind of grow up. We've seen him mature and really find his footing. We've seen Cooper rise up from the ash. Just take a look at the highlights here. Finding Natmos there on the outskirts.
What's crazy
is Japko with the early rotate here, Jacob.
What I was about to say is Reed was one of those players along with Epic Whale when West got announced. He was like, yo, I'm going to play with a few players, enact, coughs, just try to take a West championship. But there's only one spot that actually qualifies in Major 1. That was Baka, Pars, and Pump. He goes back on over to Central, doesn't make Major 1. And then now look at him, Monster. He's in a position to go to the Global Championships as Muzz, Rise, Yapko also getting aggressive. And just one thing I know for certain in this game, with how close the leaderboard is, it might come down to points. Monster, what is this?
I was gonna say, forget the points, Jacob. We got the clash that we've been looking for. Clix's team pushing to the Crime City. We knew this was gonna be a potential option. We called it at the start of the show. Could it be that Clix, Yamso, and Higgs are gonna wait to the last game to bring it to Peterbot and have them on the run? And they're doing just that right now, but Cold is so smart. He's going for that natural high ground right now, playing towards the market. They understand that they have the advantage on this side. That positioning is gonna be key here. Yamso, Higgs, and Clix nearly catch them off guard there, but you know they're not gonna let this one slide.
It's a dangerous game they're playing here, boys. The top 2 teams going at it, and rightfully so. If Clix, Higgs, and Yamso were to go down right now at this point in the game with 0 eliminations, which they have 1, they're still gonna lock in their second place, so they have almost nothing to lose and everything to gain in this situation. by trying to hunt down Peterbot. And it's
Peterbot
just
knows
kind of crazy how the tables turned because the hunted have now become the hunted. Said that wrong,
don't
but well.
count it out. Peterbot knows what's going on. He knows he's got nothing to lose. He knows that if he takes him down, this is where it all is coming down to. So Peterbot, Ritual, Cold looking to kick this off. Peterbot going for the side angle, Cold going for the right, and this is where they play best, being aggressive, but they sniff him out for a second there. They have a little bit of high ground. Here comes the
when offensive is what?
Clicks is moving to the outskirts as well.
Come
They
on,
have
good.
to play for angles. This is extremely high-level Fortnite at the works here. Cold finds the
This
Amzo.
peak Fortnite.
Kind of doubles back.
It's a lot
3v2
of
now.
damage onto Clicks. And this is where the tables might turn around just a little bit because they have a little bit of elevation. They have the team cowering underneath, playing defensively. And you talked about how advantageous that actually is, but these third-party shots coming in is going to force Peterbot and Cold and Ritual to disengage only momentarily, though, because this is something that we saw to end the day yesterday, and it was zone after zone after zone. They chased him down not once, but multiple times, eliminated throughout the game.
Here's a problem. If you allow Peterbot and their team to kind of gather their bearings, get their material counts back up to a strong position, it's just going to be disastrous for Yamzo, Clicks, and Higgs. So they have to make a move here. They can't sit idle for too much longer. And like we said, Peterbot plays best when he is the one pushing. Notice how when they're getting pushed, right, and they're playing on the heels, they're playing on the back foot, he doesn't look as good. They don't look as good getting pushed back.
It's one of the first times we've really seen them on the back foot. It was only for a quick moment there in that situation, but it almost even seems like Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot, they're not necessarily just running as you saw them go back onto the mountain of Crime City and then charge back as the aggressors. They're just making sure that they are in the position that they want if they are going to take the fight. They're not taking it under anybody else's standards, under anybody else's say. And I think that's why they're making the smart decision, because while all this is going down, different strategies for both of these teams, no surge bases, which means in theory they could be below the surge threshold or more further down than they would hope to be.
Oh, for sure. But look at the player count, right? This game, we knew undoubtedly was going to move a little faster, so they do get to have a little bit of a moment, right, to kind of situate themselves. However, once we start getting into that mid game and the next thresholds begin to appear, it's going to become more and more apparent, right, that this is a team that will have to work for it. Puts Higgs and Yamzo double back to the market here, though. A little bit of leftover goods from teams prior for Peterbot, Cooper, Ree, and Curly, though. Just getting active, another elimination, stepping themselves one more giant leap towards the global championship stage here. Very impressive overall. You got to give tons of respect and credit to this team that just, again, formulated out of nowhere, picking up Curly here. A great addition. Oh, but look at this. Peterbot got his eyes on him.
I'm almost getting that feeling of deja vu because it was in Group 1. We were watching them kind of dismantle the lobbies, particularly in games 4 and 5. And I was thinking to myself, oh man, how many FNCSs did they just ruin by bulldozing these teams? And that was a possible another one of those chances if they were to take down Reek, Cooper, and Curly. They can only sit by and wait and hope that their points stand. As Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs pick up their second elimination of the game, something that's needed because they're staggering farther back, which means they haven't been able to get the damage. And then the heals on top of that they need to make sure that they're healthy when they exit the zone, and that's how they picked it up. 3v1, all angles secured.
Game 12, FNCS Finals Major 2 has been nothing short of exceptional. And it doesn't matter who you're rooting for. It doesn't matter who you are a fan of. The way that these trios have managed to play today, the willingness to push one another and kind of test the skills, test the boundaries of each other is what has made this an absolutely incredible FNCS, and it is still ongoing here. Clicks, Higgs, and Yamzo do have 2 eliminations. Keep in mind, Peterbot's trio doesn't have any, so that point gap is starting to close. Mudjack going Rise, end up losing one. This is not looking good right now. It's a full-on fight here. Pressure coming in from Broken and Liam here on the low ground. The edit from Muzz is nice. Not a big enough tag to give him a huge advantage here. Liam now pushing a wall. Well, super quick with the layer changes here, Jacob.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of keeping them guessing while still attacking from different angles, but he finally backtracked, reunites with Yapko. Down goes the Water Sprite. And the longer this fight goes, both of these trios are going to have to start thinking, is it going to be worth it? Do we disengage out? Especially the one that is going to be on the high ground. They have the overall say, and down goes the Thermite. And even though it's not big damage, they at least kind of get a feel of where Yapko's positioned at along with Muzz as they continue to fire and keep pushing pressure down as Yapko's shields go out the window. Muzz is feeling the pressure, forced to converge onto the low ground, build some extra space.
Oh,
and there's isolated right now. Oh,
Curly's
no.
down. Third place might be on a lifeline right now. Muzz, Japco, and Rise just have to kind of hold in. There might be 2 spots opening up for the global championship here. Japco's hurt. Muzz has to hold it down now, but they've been on the retreat this entire time. The pressure from Broken is starting to build up here. Muzz looking for an escape plan. Down they go, out to the side. No mats to really work with, though. This is all but dangerous. A very risky play to fully disengage here, but they do it. They get inside of the facility here and now, and the team up top kind of eases off. What is going on here? Game 12 really is kind of tossed in the air right now.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me wonder because while all this was going down, well, this is how it started. Rise was the one caught off guard, not even hit a bush, just on the side of a mountain. But while all that was going down, you said Reet had went down. I noticed in the feed, Cooper had went down as well. So just like the game that they won, it's really going to be in Curly's hands to try to get the team back up so that way they can hold on to their spot. Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual 16 below. We talked about the changes to start the game, them getting pushed by Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs. Now look what it has done to them. No elimination, 16 below the damage threshold, and forced to make their way to fight another team.
So
we got that official update there. Third place is down and out. Reed's team fully eliminated at 682. That's going to be the cutoff. Iamzo, Clix, and Higgs, though, in a box fight right now below the surge here at the Seaport City. And guess who is showing up right now? Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot, who are also on that line, showing up to the scene here. They're going to be one of the few teams that have to jump into a box fight as well. So don't be surprised if all of these teams reinitiate. As the shots are breaking out, the attention is starting to build here. 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 120 below. Clix, Higgs, Yamzo. Clock is ticking, son. You got to make a move here. In they go.
Hold not.
It's all or nothing. The bats are out. Clix hits one. He's not. Down Veer. Yamzo's in the box. No. Dash has a better angle. It's all up to Higgs now.
Tournament on the line for them. Shot still breaking through, but he's able to get the elimination. No siphon. Wasn't his down. Splashes onto Clix. He's trying to save the day. Get them back into the game. But Dash, he heard a lot of the noise. He knows some knocks are there. On the other side, one wall is separated, but Higgs is going to hold on to that one. Gets the revive, finishes it. But Clix just gets trapped on the other side, but he gets the elimination. That was absolutely big for Yamzo to get the siphon there, but
why
Clix
not
goes down, and they heard it. The hunted are now on the prowl.
And the storm.
Look at them looking around. They're thinking about it. They said, wait, there was a fight breaking on in here. I see the boxes, but I don't see the team just yet. They're going to cap off on heels here. Someone's knocked, someone's down. It has to be the players we are likely looking for. And you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to find the right skins. They're 22 below now. They end up swinging around. They end up going more passively instead of aggressive here. And this is unlike Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold. They might be feeling the pressure of the major being on the line here.
We haven't seen this in this situation out of them since the group stages where they went down to Storm Surge and zone overall. Now the shots are coming out from behind. That's Higgs. That's Iamzo. They're ready to take it by force right now because the fight. Peterbot has to backtrack. He needs the surge. He needs it here, and this is the nearest team to them. Ritual turning around, trying to backtrack, but down goes Peterbot. That is their elimination. That is their Storm Surge, and that is their chance to win it all. But Cold, he has something to say about it. On the other side, he hit a massive shot onto Yamzo to backtrack him. Because of the fall of Peterbot, though, look at the heals. Look at the loot that Higgs now has in his inventory.
And the siphon just kicked in, so it ends up keeping him alive for a little bit longer. Cole's falling to the surge here. The Storm takes him down. First place is starting to be dismantled. Ritual tries, but he is sent back to the lobby. It's not over yet, though. Higgs and Iamzo still have to earn some points. 3 eliminations separate them. They've already earned 6. There's a team on their heels. There's a player on the outskirts. There's knock body everywhere, Jacob.
Oh no, it's a 5-tick!
And they fall!
Oh no, they were just 11 points away from the FNC as champion. First and second place are down, Monster. I don't think we could have witnessed anything greater than this.
It was extremely, extremely close. In the end, everyone took damage. They had to fight it out. They missed the elimination credit because you need to do damage in order to get rewarded. And I think there might have been some points left on the table, but only time will tell. Only the standings will tell.
I didn't actually catch when they went down because now I see placement points are starting to kick in. If they got 17th, 16th, 15th place somehow, that could be the miracle to really change the course of this game. But now we are on a different course. It's no longer about that first place spot. It's about global championship battle bus spot secured. And right now, it might be early 7th zone, but Bugha, Rapid, and Threats are willing to take it under their own hands and go for high ground early.
Only 37 players remaining. Bugha puts it all on the line, goes for height here. He's gonna need a victory royale in order to jump his way up into a global championship spot with his team. Curve, Shadow, and Tyler have to do the same. There's still teams in the running here for the global championship. Braids and Minish are alive. Kanata Bolts down to the low ground. This is a tournament we have on our hands.
I just remembered right now, 3rd place also down and out of the game. That's Reap, Cooper, and Curly. There's only one team alive in terms of inside of the qualification bubble. That's Visuals, Braids, and Minish. They're just trying to hold on to that spot secured because you got Rapid, Bugha, Threats. You got Agers, Acorn, and Poyo. That spot will roll down. You got Curve, Shadow, and Tyler still in the hunt, starting this game at 8th place. And we saw Muzz, Yapko, and Rise above them on the leaderboard already get eliminated out of this lobby.
That is true. 3rd place, Reed, Cooper, and Curly, remember, fell at 682. This means that any of the teams in the top 10 can pick up a monstrous victory royale and propel yourself to a 3rd or 4th place seat. Given how close the standings are right now, there are still global championship spots on the line. Visuals and Minish and Braids are watching it all play out. From their perspective, every ounce counts. We may not get another surge warning, but we are still gonna get a race to the finish here.
You know, when I said to start this game off, it's gonna be kind of a speed run through the lobby. Everybody's getting eliminations. There are 35 players alive in the 8 zone. Only 12 teams remaining. And a lot of those teams are in the hunt for the spot. Some just trying to hold on to it. And that's what makes that elimination from Visuals that much more important. It wasn't the damage for Surge because he had just a sliver of HP, but it's the points for the leaderboard. It's Agers and Acorn, no Poyo in sight. And they're already looking at the high ground right now, seeing where it pulls. They are at the edge of the zone, but it is pulling in their favor as well.
Agers eyeing it up. Acorn looking up to the top. Aviv is there set up. They're gonna go for the chop down, looking to break this metal structure here. Curve, Tyler, catch wind of what's going on. They seem to jump into the action here. And they're thinking about capitalizing here as well. Sphinx, Bolts, and Kanata see that there's something kind of taking form up top here too. Acorn goes for it. Here they come. Skittles couldn't quite hit the edit there. Out of material, out of gas. Sent back to low ground. Agers, Acorn, Poyo now have control of high ground here. Just a single elimination, but high ground is theirs. Plenty of material to work with here. They get to the front side of zone now. And this is perfectly executed here for our Major 1 champions.
Down below though, even without Threats, Rapid, Bugha, 499 damage above the threshold. Quickly moving to the front side of the zone, taking space. You're seeing expending a lot of materials with 3 more zones to bounce in and out of. And this is where they might need an elimination here. You see Rapid looking through the builds, trying to find Booga as well, trying to assess the situation, figure out where everybody's positioned at. And they see a team open up the doors, and Rapid takes that first shot. Not a big one, but now they know they can put down the pressure, knowing that team has to come to them or around into zone, sacrificing HP.
Trading shot for shot here, blow for blow. Almost pieces him up there. Rapid looking for the catch, but couldn't quite find it. Meanwhile, Booga kind of trying to figure this one out. Booga's getting tagged here, stuck on the mid ground. Braids, Visuals, and Diminish still have their footing under them, still have Mats. Gold Splash is coming out. Front side rotate from them. But it's Oyo, Angels, and Acorn who still have the high ground, who are looking down right now with full control of the lobby, trying to get the last minute rotate here so they don't burn material count, waiting for the zone to force them off the height. Down they come. Visual, Braids, and Diminish looking up. They see what's going on here. They chop out high ground. Could they be going for a photo finish to the Globals?
And down goes Booga. He actually gets eliminated on the low ground. Visuals gets paid back by Poyo. Might be the only player left alive on that team. Everybody down below scrambling to try to make something happen, but they're safe as can be. Poyo's trying to break in. He was the one that got the knock, but the double revive is too quick for him to get the elimination. Now they approach onto Vert and take him on that position to go overtake the front side of the zone. An absolute necessity, but Rapid is trying to keep their hopes and dreams alive. They're so close to the global spot, they can taste it.
Top 7 now. Rapid has to stay in the game in order to send his team to Globals, but he's gonna need Elims as well. He falls to the hands of Kanata, who has been cooking up here on day 2, but Diminished and Visuals get a chance to break away as well. They're playing Mesness in the Storm. They're just waiting this one out here. They're fully capped off. Can they get a little bit more points here? G-Moss on the other side of the wall. Team breaks out, and Visuals opens up, finds one. Can he get the second? He finds Osid as well. Waiting for the Siphon now to kind of kick in here. His teammates down. There it is. He is fully healthy. He's got the mats to work with. Top 3 now here, Jacob.
Now he's ready to play the Thorn in the side. The extra placement points are just the cherry on top, because I think he's done enough to secure his spot, but he goes down just at the last second. Zone, nobody gets the points for eliminations, and a good old 3v3. Acorn, Agers, and Poyo versus Kanata, Sphinx, and Bolts down below. Former teammates through different aspects as Poyo lands the first shot down below. Flank on the Sphinx. He gets a good shot yet again, but no knocks. Poyo cannot get the Siphon. Turns the corner and goes down. It's not going to be enough. Kanata holds on. Him, Sphinx, and Bolts win the final game of the day. Hoping, praying with fingers crossed that it was enough to qualify for the global championship.
That is the real question, because 11 eliminations in a Victory Royale is a monstrous triple-digit game. Surely that can at least look to raise the eyebrows, but you still had Rapid Booga threats. You still had Agers, Acorn, and Poyo potentially there, you know, just to push teams out, really shake things up for everyone here. Game 12, absolutely insane at one point there. I mean, I started to go lightheaded with the clash between the Titans. Kanata, Sphinx, Bolt, congratulations on a Game 12 Victory Royale. Jacob,
the team that
it's been an honor
I said
calling
if the team that
Central Finals. What a tournament that
kill
was.
Kate got
If you
win.
would have told me today when we woke up
I
that we
really
would have
did
a
that.
tournament where first and second place
Because
are
Peter
hunting
Buck
each
is
other
both
down
killed
to win the Major
Lappen,
2 FNCS and qualify for the Global Championship
Lappen
monster,
Port.
I would have called you crazy.
It was the whole
Take
day
out
too.
that.
It wasn't just like, you know,
Kate
one
win
little
by one.
moment. It was the entire tournament. Well, we hope you were entertained. For myself and of course Jacob, we're done here. You're gonna send on over to Zeke to
I
give
can
us the
say
final
the
results.
bot offense, yes.
Jacob PR,
In
Buffy
NA,
Base, thank you
and
so much for
this-
2
this
fantastic
season, too.
games. And we can now call your winners from the Major 2 finals. It is Peterbot, it is Cold, it is Ritual. By a difference of 11 points, Peterbot reclaims his title, reclaims the first place win he narrowly missed out on in Major number 1. Guys, I cannot believe the game we just witnessed. Every single time it happened twice. First, we got the initial moment where
Wait, the both
Clicks
is
is pushing
tied.
into Crime City.
If-
We're
oh
all
my
thinking,
God.
oh my gosh, is it gonna happen? They kind of, both sides posture, then they back out, and then suddenly Peterbot's running in them, and they kind of box up, and then they kind of separate each other again, and now suddenly both squads are below on Surge, and then it is just all basically downhill from there, kind of creating this moment where we don't know which way is it going to go. How are they going to solve these problems? But at the end of the day, after 2 days of unbelievable play, Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot will hold the Blade of Champions high.
I feel like Levin and even Quanti, when I interviewed him, put it best that the best thing for Peterbot's trio to win Major 2 was losing Major 1. Peterbot has had such an incredible run from the start of this season, whether that was Season 1, Season 2, all the Div Cups they won, all the records they broke, but getting that second place was what Peterbot needed to lock in and prove to himself and to prove to everyone else that I am still the best player, not just in NA, but the best player in the world. And Cold and Ritual stepped up this weekend. They proved that when Peterbot does go down, that they are there to have his back. They are there to make sure that they reclaim their former glory, and they are your Major 2 champions.
Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. The question was poised back to back or back to Pete. And looky here, right back in the hands of Peterbot. The trophy did not leave for long, but the fact that it did, like Kelly mentioned, a little bit of motivation there for the trio to go ahead and say, listen, we got to go ahead and take this one back. We got to go ahead and get an FNCS win. Peterbot now 5-time FNCS champion. Amazing feat for him. He's had such an incredible time just rising up the ranks, proving that he is currently the best player in the world. Cold with one heck of a performance, maybe one that was even more valuable than Peterbot's in some circumstances for sure. And then Ritual, I mean, the improvement out of him from Major 1 was without a doubt noticeable here in Major number 2 and definitely made the difference. But man, was it close.
Man, was it close. Okay, obviously, I am thankful that we just got, an amazing show, right? This could have just been the Peterbot show. He could have been 500 points ahead of everybody else. We could like, okay, Peterbot, you're good, awesome. But it was so close all the way up into game number 12. Obviously, my heart breaks for Clix coming so close. And, we kind of pulled up his stream there for just a moment. And, what's difficult is in the moment when he goes down, Iamzo comes flying around the corner, and rather than splashing his body, he kind of pops the half pot. Obviously, we as viewers, to us, it's clear, right? Just splash the body, make sure everything's cool. But in those chaotic moments, we're not those players, right? We're not them in those heated moments. Was that the right call? Who knows? Who knows if they actually splash Clix, get him up? Would they have made it? We really don't know. But at the end of the day, this was the outcome. I'm happy that Clix broke the 4th place streak, got a 3rd place, Major 1, got a 2nd place, Major 2. So now we go on to win Major 3.
I mean, after
That's my
what
dream.
we saw this weekend, Vivid, I think that Clix's trio could easily win Major 3. They have proven time and time again that they are easily the top competitors against Peterbot's trio, and it came down to those final moments. So although I know 11 points difference between first and second, that's gotta hurt, they should be so proud of themselves for what they did against the likes of the Big 7 in NAC.
Yeah, and we got to think about how pretty much the difference here. Game 6. The end of day number 1, where Peterbot was able to kind of pick apart the strategy. They were a little bit too lackadaisical, maybe over at the POI sitting on top of the ramp, allowed that kind of a push to happen, right? That was kind of their only bad game when we compare them, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. Obviously, game 12 right here, probably a bad game for both the trios, but they kind of went down side by side, 20th place, 19th place. I can't believe that's how game 12 ended. I can't believe that's how Major 2 ended towards the top of the leaderboard. Fortnite fam, are we happy with that ending? I don't know. You guys let me know.
Well, I am happy because guess what? We actually have an interview with none other than Ritual, who just went ahead, claimed themselves the Blade of Champions, looking crispy. Ritual, I would expect you to be going crazy, but you're just calm, cool, and collected, ice in the veins. So how's it feel, man? How's it feel knowing you just gone on to win Major 2?
Yeah, It actually feels really good, especially coming on like after the last major. You know, I didn't play too good, and we were supposed to win that one, so I had to bounce back for this one, and I'm glad I could lock in and, you know, get the win. It feels awesome.
I love that you say you were supposed to win Major 1, and honestly, I think a lot of people could agree, but luckily we see you guys claiming back that spot, winning Major 2, but I love that you say that for you personally, you wanted to lock in between Majors 1 and 2, so tell me a little bit about what that means for you. What was locking in, what was practicing like for you to make sure that you won Major 2?
Yeah, so, you know, after Major 1, I didn't really like how I performed. I wasn't really listening to what, you know, other people were telling me. You know, their opinions. I just knew personally that I didn't like how I played. So I took some time off to like get my head in the right space. And then I just kept grinding because that's how you get better, you know, you push through it, you push through the pain, and it paid off for me. I played good this Grands. I like it.
Yeah, you definitely played well. I mean, I was talking up your clutches earlier today. First and foremost, Ritual, congratulations on an FNCS win. That's awesome stuff. Obviously, the defining moment there was game number 12, and you guys were kind of going head-to-head with Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs throughout that entirety of the game, right over towards Crime City on the rotates over there. Talk us through what the comms were like, what was going through your head. Like, did you guys know it was their trio? You guys went down to them, or you're like, oh my gosh, it's over? Tell us about, you know, what kind of happened in the comms there.
Yeah, so we were still in Crime City when they chug splashed and tried to fight Peter. And we kind of assumed it was them because, you know, the other 11 games, nobody tried to fight us at all. And then they ended up running away from us, and we were like, I mean, we could just end this tournament here if we fought back and we, you know, eliminated them. So that's what we did. And then we ended up rotating the zone. And as we were in Seaport looking for a Storm Surge, we heard them fighting in the vault. So we kind of lurked on them and played our whites. I had a med mist and I think called it like a chug jug. And we waited for them and we saw Clicks get knocked. And so we calmed that like, if we take them out with us right here, like they can't pass us. So that was our whole goal, like just waiting. Oh no.
That is awesome, man. I just want to ask, you're still here with us just to make sure. I don't know if you can you still hear me? We might have
I think
lost
Ritual
it.
wants to party.
He
He's ready to celebrate his
That's
win.
okay. That's okay. Ritual, just thank you for your time, brother. Really, truly, like anybody coming on to do interviews is just unbelievable. It's so helpful, and the community absolutely loves it. So just thank you. Congratulations once again, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, your champions for Major 2. I was just going to end there and ask, you know, how does it feel to know that after, you know, what he went through after Major 1, it's so clear that he kind of carried that so heavily. You know, he carried that on himself.
Yeah.
And for him to come back so strong in Major number 2. And I mean, there was so many moments where he himself had to clutch as a solo. Like, I'm just so proud of him as a player. You know, so many, like, bro, I'll be real. If that was me in that situation and I took that burden on and said, this is all my fault, like, I don't know that I could come back as strong as he did. And he did. Just an amazing performance from the trio. Why don't we take a look, though, because we still have to remind ourselves, this trio's already qualified. They're already going to the Global Championships. They won Major 2.
Right.
But we still have 3 spots. I know. We still have 3 spots going to the Global Championships. 2nd through 4th place is where you're looking at. Of course, Clicks, Higgs, and Iamzo. We knew they were going through, right? Fighting to the very bitter end. And we will be seeing them at the Global Championship. But look at this, Kelly, Reed, Coop, and Curly. We're going to be seeing them at Globals.
Let's go! King Reed is back, Cooper is back, and Curly is back. I love that these 3 proved themselves time and time again. Whether that was controlling the low ground, going for high ground, every part of their play was just so impressive to me. A lot of people didn't even have them in their top 5 lists. So I love that we got Coop, Curly, and Reed to prove to everyone that they deserve their spot in the Global Championships.
Did they have to stress us out, though? I mean, they didn't have a bad game at all, right? And then we get to game 10, they go down early. Game 12, they go down early again. But that's just how well they played throughout every single one of the other games. They created such a nice, comfy, cozy blanket for themselves all the way up there in 3rd place. So much so that even with those 2 bad games towards the end of the day, they still ended up in 3rd place.